Is the Tucson housing market boom coming to an end? Hot off the press, the numbers are out for the Tucson housing market report, September 2021. I'm going to deep dive into what the Tucson housing market is doing. Hello, Tyler Ford here, Tucson, Arizona, eXp Realty, and welcome to this episode of Living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection. And in this episode, the numbers are out, and we're going to go over the Tucson housing market for September 2021. I'm going to dive deep into the numbers and help you better understand what's going on in the Tucson housing market. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, this information's for you. As a seller, I do think right now is a great time to sell as we head into the cooler months when our visitors start to come back. So there's going to be more demand. Inventories are still low, even though they're going up. So I do think the height of this market was back May, June of 2021. And we're starting to see some signs of the market changing. If you're a buyer, I think patiently waiting, inventory levels are starting to increase, which is going to give buyers more opportunities for more inventory and maybe some better buying opportunities. So again, I'm going to go over those numbers and help you better understand what's going on in the Tucson housing market. The first number I want to go over is what we call percentage of list. And that is when somebody lists their home in the MLS, what percentage of the list price are they getting? And in all of 30 years of real estate here in Tucson, we've never seen the percentage list over 100%. And we're going on, I think, the fifth consecutive month where the percentage of list is over 100%. And for September 2021, the percentage of list was 100.5%, meaning if somebody lists a home in the market, they were getting 0.5% above their list price. And in a normal market, the percentage of list is anywhere from 92 to 97% of that list price. We've seen that number go down slightly, even though it's over 100%. It is slightly down from the last couple months. So it's a number that we're keeping a look at. And the percentage of list was 100.5% for September 2021. The next number I want to talk about is what we call months of inventory. And that is if no other homes or properties were to hit the MLS today, how long would it take for all the inventory to be sold off? And for September 2021, months of inventory was 1.1, meaning that if no other homes hit the market today, all the homes would be sold in the MLS in a little over 30 days. And in a normal market, months of inventory is anywhere from 45 to a little over 60 days. So we're still about half of what it typically is in a normal market. But something to think about is that number is slowly starting to change and increase from the highs of this market. So we're definitely seeing a shift, even though it's relatively low, it is starting to tick up. So number that we take a look at. But again, if no other homes hit the market today, all the homes in the MLS would be sold in a little over a month. If you were to list your home in the MLS today, from the time that you listed till the time that it went under contract, how long would that take? And that is what we call days on market. And days on market for single family homes, September 2021 was 14 days. And for townhomes and condos, average days on market was 11 days. And so if your property is priced correctly, it's going to go under contract fairly quickly. Although those numbers are still relatively low, they are up slightly from the lows of May, June, and July of 2021. So number that I like to keep an eye on, especially if I'm listing a property, just to let people know what they can expect. But I'm going to go over inventory levels. Inventory levels are starting to tick up as well, and that's why we're seeing average days on market go up as well. So we're going to keep a tight look on inventory levels, and as a result, it usually has an impact on days on market just from a supply and demand standpoint as to how long it typically takes a home to go under contract once it's listed. What are home values doing here in Tucson, Arizona? So for September 2021, the average sales price for a single family home was $409,131 for single family homes. And the average sales price for townhomes and condos for September 2021 was $224,008. And over the last couple years, we've seen double-digit appreciation rates year over year, but I do feel that number is going sideways. We're not seeing the huge increase in appreciation rates month over month and even year over year that we've seen over the last couple years. So again, it's a number that I like to keep a close look at. And as inventory levels start to increase, going to be curious to see if home prices can hold their value or if we're going to get a pullback. So again, something that we're taking a look at, but that's what's going on as far as the average sales price of single family homes and townhomes and condos in Tucson, Arizona. This next number, this is my favorite number. To me, it's the leading indicator, and that is home inventory. And as home inventory increases, competition for homes soften. And that's what I think we're starting to see right now. It's all about supply and demand. And over the last couple of years, we've had very little supply and a lot of demand, which is causing upward pressure on prices. And that's why we've seen the double-digit year-over-year appreciation. So inventory levels, although we're still relatively low, we're up probably 30% from the bottom of where we were. So as of September 2021, in all of the MLS in Tucson, there was 1,141 single family homes listed in the MLS. And for townhomes and condos, there's only 168 townhomes and condos listed in the MLS. And I say only, those inventory levels are still low. But the encouraging thing, if you're a buyer out there, inventory levels are off the lows of where they were. So as inventory levels increase, the market starts to soften and it's less competitive out there. So if you're a buyer, just hang in there and be patient, in my opinion, because inventory levels are definitely starting to tick up. It's still a real competitive market out there, and home inventory levels are low, but they are the encouraging thing for buyers out there, and maybe some relief as far as affordability, is that home inventory levels are definitely starting to tick up. And in a normal market for Tucson, in my opinion, home inventory levels need to get over 2,000 active listings, closer to 2,500 to 3,000, which would be a healthy, normal market where you've got equilibrium in terms of supply and demand. So we are still well below what I think is a healthy market. But again, the encouraging thing for buyers out there is home inventory levels are starting to tick up. And every Wednesday, what I'm doing is I'm doing a live where, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, every Wednesday I log into the MLS and I go over what Tucson home inventory levels are doing, and I track that. So it's something that you can go to my YouTube channel and look at just to keep tabs on what home inventory levels are doing. If you're a seller out there, I do think this is a great time to sell, to take advantage of what I think is the top end of this market. I think we're slightly past that. But again, as long as home inventory levels remain below 2,000 active listings, it's definitely a seller's market. But again, that is starting to change. If you're a buyer out there, I would say just be patient. And don't chase deals at the top end of this market. I would encourage you to save more money, especially if you're considering a VA or an FHA loan where you're putting little to no money down. At the end of the day, if this market turns, it's no fun to be upside down. So I would say save money, try to get to the point where you can put 20% down to avoid mortgage insurance and have enough money in reserves to weather a storm when and if this market does change. So again, a lot going on here. I do think that things are slowly starting to change. But the one thing that I'm curious as to what's going to happen with inventory levels being still low is as Tucson goes into their buying season and winter visitors come back to Tucson as the temperatures cool off. I'm curious to see whether or not, we'll have more demand coming in than supply as we hit fall, winter, and spring. So something that I'm curious as to see what's going to happen here and how things are going to play out. Keep in mind, if you use us to buy or sell a home, we've got a 16-foot box moving truck equipped with moving blankets, dolly. It's all ready to go for your move. And so even down the road after the fact, once you use us to buy or sell a home, you're more than welcome to use our truck, whether it's picking up furniture or appliances or going to Home Depot or Lowe's for any type of remodeling job. You're more than welcome to use our moving truck. If you found this video of value on the Tucson market update, do me a huge favor and go ahead and give me an internet high five by liking the video. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below and I'll get back to you. And for more awesome videos about living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.